Picture this, an endless galaxy full of vibrant worlds, epic battles between starships, and heroes standing against impossible odds. It's dramatic, it's emotional, and it's downright epic. I'm talking about space opera, a subgenre that's given us some of the most iconic stories in science fiction, from Star Wars to Battlestar Galactica, Dune, and beyond. But what exactly makes a story a space opera, and why do we keep coming back to it?
In this video, we'll dive into the heart of space opera, what makes it so unique, the key tropes that define it, and how the best stories use these elements to create great adventures. Maybe you're a writer looking to create your own epic adventures, or you just enjoy the genre and it's a fan of Starship and Galactic Empires. This breakdown will give you new appreciation to one of sci-fi's most prominent subgenres. So let's get to it.
Space opera might sound like something out of a musical, but it's far more exciting than that. At its heart, it's a subgenre of science fiction where epic adventures, larger-than-life stakes, and high emotion take center stage, all set against the vast backdrop of space. It's about sprawling empires, heroic rebellions, and massive starships blazing through the cosmos. Think of it as science fiction with all the flash and drama cranked up to 11. From galaxy-spanning wars to personal struggles for survival, space operas tell stories that are grand in scale, but rooted in human emotion.
What makes space opera stand out is its willingness to be huge. The stakes aren't just save the planet, they are freaking save the galaxy or reshape the future of humanity. But the stories also thrive on relationships, betrayals, and sacrifices that pull at your heartstrings. Think of Luke Skywalker coming to terms with his destiny in Star Wars, or Paul Atreides facing the weight of the prophecy in Dune. The space operas combine sweeping adventures with personal journeys. It's science fiction with the grandiosity of epic fiction, but don't forget the human element.
Now, let's talk about what makes space opera so different from the hard science side of sci-fi. Hard sci-fi focuses on the nuts and bolts of science and technology. It's about plausibility, accuracy, and showing how things could work. It's like reading an engineering manual wrapped up in a story. Space opera, on the other hand, says, sure, science is great, but how about some emotional stakes and epic fun? It's less concerned with explaining exactly how faster-than-light travel works, and more about why the characters are going on their journey and what it means for them.
Where hard magic sci-fi dives into the mechanics, space opera doesn't shy away from the emotion. It's about adventure, wonder, and creating a sense of awe. You don't need a physics degree to enjoy space opera. What matters is that you feel the danger of the hero's quest, the weight of their decisions, and the thrill of battles fought in the void. This is where space opera shines. It uses the limitless possibilities of space not just for spectacle, but to tell timeless, emotional stories that stick with you long after the credits roll or the final page turns. Some people may even argue, for example, that Star Wars is pretty much a fantasy epic with some sci-fi coding.
Before space operas became the polished galaxy-spanning epics we know today, they had their roots in the pulpy, swashbuckling adventures of Flash Gordon. Back in the 1930s, Flash Gordon whisked audiences away to the colorful planet Mongo, where Flash battled the evil meaning the merciless in stories that were fast-paced and melodramatic. These early works didn't worry too much about explaining the science. They were all about fun, excitement, and the dream of adventure in the stars. Fast forward a few decades, and space opera hit its stride with Star Wars and Dune, two works that redefined the genre. Star Wars took the adventurous spirit of Flash Gordon and turned it into a full-fledged cultural phenomenon. It gave us starships, lightsabers, and epic battles, but at its core, it told a timeless story about family, hope, and good versus evil. Meanwhile, Dune brought a more thoughtful and layered approach to space opera. It's still packed with epic stakes, warring noble houses, desert planets, and a messianic hero, but it dives deep into themes of power, religion, and ecology.
Together, Star Wars and Dune both showed that space opera could be both entertaining and rich with meaning, setting the stage for modern sci-fi epics. I think by now you have a good idea what space opera is, but let's explore key elements of the subgenre in more concrete terms.
Space opera is a subgenre that thrives on being larger than life. It combines grand settings, sweeping character arcs, and thrilling conflicts, all while keeping its heart firmly focused on human emotions and drama.
If you want to understand what makes a space opera tick, you need to look at its essential ingredients. The elements that turn a simple sci-fi story into an epic galactic saga. Let's break it down.
Space opera is all about scope, and that scope starts with the setting. Picture sprawling galaxies, warring empires, and ships gliding through the void of space. These stories transport you to fully realized worlds filled with alien cultures, interstellar politics, and cities the size of planet. Think of the rich galaxy-spanning lore of the Mass Effect video game series. The setting is a living, breathing part of the story that shapes the characters' arcs and the stakes they face. At the heart of any great space opera are the heroes, characters who are larger than life, yet deeply relatable. These protagonists often start as ordinary people, thrust into extraordinary circumstance, like Luke Skywalker in Star Wars, a farm boy who becomes the galaxy's last hope. What makes these characters shine is their humanity. Their doubts, struggles, and personal stakes resonate with us, even as they fight unrealistic battles that span the stars. Space opera thrives on conflict, the kind that shakes worlds and topples empires. It could be the classic good versus evil showdown in Star Wars, the rebellion against an oppressive empire, or the political intrigue and betrayal of noble houses in Dune. These conflicts are grand in scale but always personal in impact. Even video games like Halo weave epic battles with emotional stakes as characters deal with war, loyalty, and survival. These conflicts raise the stakes to galactic levels while keeping us invested in the individuals at the center of it all. Space opera embraces emotion unapologetically, from star-crossed lovers and devastating betrayals to heroic sacrifices. It's about relationships between friends, families, and lovers that add heart to the spectacle. Think of Han Solo's I love you moment in The Empire Strikes Back or the tragic loyalty of Garrus Vakarian in Mass Effect. The drama may be dialed up, but it's what makes these stories stick with us. We're watching people we care about struggle, triumph, and sometimes fall. Space opera taps into universal themes that have been part of storytelling forever. Power and corruption, freedom and oppression, war and survival. These are timeless because they reflect both our struggles as individuals and as societies. Think of Battlestar Galactica, where the survivors of humanity wrestle with grief, loyalty, and hope while on the run from relentless Cylon. The futuristic setting is a rich background for the exploration of themes of human politics, philosophy, faith, and even the nature of consciousness and identity. Finally, let's not forget the wow factor. Space opera is a visual and imaginative feast. Massive starship battles, stunning alien worlds, and advanced technology that feels both magical and futuristic. Think of the breathtaking visuals of Blade Runner 2049's dystopian future. Space opera excels at delivering spectacle.
Together, these ingredients form the backbone of space opera. The stories there are vast in scope, rich in character, and unafraid to steer our emotions and dazzle us with spectacle. It's a genre that proves you can take the human experience and launch it across the stars. At its best, it manages to ground even the most unbelievable setting in humanity and personal storytelling. The secret to space opera's long-lasting appeal lies in its perfect blend of escapism, human emotion, timeless themes, and broad appeal. It whisks us away to vast, imaginative galaxies where empires rise, alien civilizations thrive, and starships soar, satisfying our innate desire to explore the unknown. Yet, at its heart, space opera tells relatable stories about love, loss, and identity, amplified against epic backdrops. Its ability to cater to a wide range of people is unmatched.
Now it's time to go over some of the common pitfalls to avoid in the subgenre. One of the biggest pitfalls in writing space opera is getting too obsessed with world building. Yes, intricate alien cultures and sprawling star systems are cool, but if audiences don't care about the characters, the story falls flat.
It's easy to lose sight of the heart of the story, which are the character arcs, when you drown your audience in endless lore. Use world building to support the characters' struggles, not to overshadow them.
Space battles and laser beams might look great, but they mean nothing if there's no emotional weight behind them. 1,000 starships clashing in a nebula is cool, but what's at stake for the hero? What's driving them? The Empire Strikes Back's most iconic moment isn't a battle. It's Darth Vader telling Luke, "I am your father."
The spectacle should amplify the emotional stakes, not overshadow them. So as a tip, always ask yourself, why should the audience care about this scene? And tie the action to the character's goals and relationships.
Even in a galaxy far, far away, readers need something human to latch onto. Space operas that forget this can feel too distant and sterile. The best stories use relatable conflicts, love, betrayal, survival, and identity that resonate with the audiences no matter the setting.
An easy way to ground your epic stakes is to make the characters face challenges that we all understand, no matter how far into the stars they travel. So to avoid the pitfalls, remember, balance the spectacle with character. Make sure every explosion and starship battle carries emotional weight, and let your world builders serve their story, not the other way around. Keep the focus on what matters most, the human heart at the center of it all.
Now let's go over some iconic examples of the subgenre. There is no space opera deep dive without a Star Wars mention. It is the quintessential space opera, blending swashbuckling adventure, family drama, and epic visuals into a timeless tale of good versus evil. At its heart, it's a story about relationships, Luke's journey to confront his father, and bonds between the rebellion's heroes. And it wraps those emotional stakes in massive starship battles, Jedi duels, and a galaxy brimming with wonder. Its universal appeal lies in its ability to balance thrilling spectacle with the personal struggles of its characters. Dune is often mentioned here on the channel. It elevates space opera by marrying complex world building with personal and political stakes. It's a story of power, prophecy, and survival, set on the desert planet Arrakis, where control of the spice means control of the universe. Dune grounds its epic scope in Paul Atreides' journey from boy to messianic figure, making it both a cerebral and emotionally compelling masterpiece. Star Trek takes space opera in a more optimistic and philosophical direction, envisioning a future where humanity explores the stars not for conquest, but for knowledge, peace, and unity. It balances action and exploration with thought-provoking moral questions about identity, ethics, and cooperation. Its utopian vision and allegorical storytelling set it apart as a space opera with heart and intellect. Finally, Guardians of the Galaxy adds a refreshing comedic spin to the space opera formula. It's packed with colorful characters, quirky humor, and a whole lot of heart, following a group of misfits who come together to save the universe, while learning to trust each other along the way. Beneath the jokes and vibrant visuals lies a story about found family, redemption, and sacrifice, adding a fun spin to the subgenre. Space opera is a genre that truly has it all. Vast imaginative settings that whisk us away to other galaxies, heroes we can root for as they face epic conflicts, and stories that blend dazzling spectacle with deeply human emotions. From the swashbuckling adventures of Star Wars to the cerebral depths of Dune and the player-driven drama of Mass Effect, space opera proves time and again that it is about what makes us human, amplified to a galactic scale. The genre invites us to dream bigger, feel deeper, and explore the universe in ways only it can deliver.
So that's it for the video today. I hope you enjoyed. I asked you guys on the community tab a few weeks ago if you were interested in exclusive sci-fi deep dives, and the results were overall positive. But don't worry, the focus would still be mostly on fantasy, and a lot of the things we discuss here in the channel in other videos can easily be translated to sci-fi as well, with some small adjustments anyways. So let me know in the comments which space opera story is your favorite. Are you team Star Wars, a Dune fanatic, or maybe even love Mass Effect? Personally, the early 2000s Battlestar Galactica is a favorite of mine, even though the ending was not that great. If you're a writer, I'd love to hear some of your own space epic ideas in the comments. Also, let me know other fantasy and sci-fi subgenres do you want to be tackled here in the channel next. So see you in the next one.
Come join our Tavern discussion of fantasy storytelling and world building here at Loregeist. Give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and hit the bell for notifications. Thanks for watching, and may your tales be ever epic.